I never really believed in ghost stories. Not the ones whispered in small towns, not the ones told around campfires, not the ones people pass around about old houses. I've always been the type to explain things away. If something creaked at night, it was just the wood settling. If you saw a shadow move, it was only your imagination. That's how I lived my life, grounded in logic, until I took a job I should have never accepted. I became the night guard at LeDuc Mansion in Hastings, Minnesota. During the day, LeDuc Mansion is a tourist site. People wander through its high-ceilinged rooms, admiring the antique furniture, the oil paintings, the preserved history. Families smile, cameras flash, children run across the velvet ropes, even though they're told not to. But at night, when the last visitor leaves, when the lights dim, that house changes. It stops being a museum and becomes something else, something alive. On my first night, the caretaker, Mr. Whitlock, handed me a folded piece of paper. He was an old man, tall and frail, with pale skin that looked gray in the dim light. His hand trembled as he passed it to me. He didn't smile, didn't even look me in the eye. His voice was low and gravelly when he spoke. Read them carefully. Follow them exactly. If you break even one, you won't last here. I thought he was just trying to spook me. An initiation ritual for new guards, maybe. But when I unfolded the paper, my smile faded. They weren't normal instructions. They were rules. Strange, unsettling rules. Always lock the front doors at midnight. If you find them open after midnight, leave them open. You never close them. Do not enter the ballroom after 1 in the morning. If you hear music, ignore it. At 2:33 a.m., check the mirror in the east hallway. If you see someone who isn't you, do not break eye contact until the clock strikes 2:34. If you hear crying from the basement, call out, "You don't belong here." Never go down there. Never, under any circumstances, speak to the woman in white if she asks you for help. And finally, leave promptly at 6 in the morning. Not a minute later. I shook my head, stuffed the paper into my pocket, and told myself it was nonsense. Just a way to make the job more dramatic. But the first night taught me quickly that the rules weren't jokes. They were warnings. When midnight came, I checked the doors. Locked. Easy enough. But around 12:47, I froze in the hallway. I heard music, violins, soft haunting coming from the ballroom. My chest tightened. I remembered the second rule. Don't enter after 1, and if you hear music, ignore it. I stood there with my hand hovering over the doorknob, listening to the faint waltz echoing through the doors. The sound was beautiful, almost hypnotic. My instincts told me to peek inside. Just a quick look, but my gut twisted, and Whitlock's words rang in my head. Follow them exactly. I pulled my hand away and turned. As I walked down the corridor, I passed a glass cabinet, and in its reflection, I saw them, shadows, twirling in circles, figures dancing in the ballroom that I had left closed behind me. Later that same night at 2:33, I forced myself down the east hallway. My palms were sweaty as I approached the tall, gilded mirror that hung there. It loomed over me, the gold frame carved with twisting vines, the glass polished to a perfect shine. I stood in front of it, staring at myself. I looked pale, tired, clutching the flashlight too tightly. Then my stomach turned cold. There was another face in the mirror. A man stood behind me. His skin was gray and sagging, his eyes sunken deep into his skull, his lips cracked into a jagged grin. His teeth looked sharp, too sharp, and his smile stretched wider and wider as he stared back at me. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I remembered the rule. Don't break eye contact until 2:34. So I locked my gaze on him. My eyes burned, my pulse thundered. The figure's grin kept widening, stretching so far it looked like his skin would tear. The second hand of the clock ticked louder, louder. Then finally, the minute changed. 2:34. He vanished. I stumbled back, gasping for air, drenched in sweat. That was the first night. By the second week, the house began testing me more. One night I heard it, soft crying from the basement. At first it sounded faint, like wind, but it grew clearer. Sobs. A child's sobs. My stomach twisted. What if a kid had wandered inside? My hand gripped the doorknob, ready to check. Then I remembered the fourth rule. If you hear crying, call out. You don't belong here. Never go down there. My throat was dry, but I forced the words out. You don't belong here. The crying stopped. Silence filled the air, and then I heard footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming up the basement stairs, I backed away, heart pounding, and ran to the office. I locked the door and pressed my ear against it. For the rest of the night, I heard breathing. Just outside, slow, steady, human. But I never opened the door. By the third week, I was running on no sleep, nerves stretched thin. That's when I saw her. It was after 2 when I spotted movement at the far end of the hall. A woman. She wore a flowing white dress that trailed along the floor. Her hair hung long and black over her face. She glided, almost floated as she came closer. Her voice was soft when she spoke. "Please, can you help me?" Her words stabbed into me. Her voice was broken, desperate, trembling. For a second, my lips parted. I almost answered. Then I remembered the 5th rule. Never, under any circumstances, speak to the woman in white if she asks you for help. I clenched my jaw, shook my head, and turned away. But later that night, when I stood before the mirror at 2:33, she was there, standing just behind me. Her face wasn't hidden by her hair anymore. Her eyes were wide, bloodshot, furious. Her lips twisted into a snarl. She didn't look broken. She looked vengeful. By the end of the month, I was a wreck. My hands shook constantly. My eyes burned from lack of sleep. Every sound, every shadow put me on edge, and then the house decided to push harder. It happened at midnight. The front doors were open. Panic jolted through me. I knew I had locked them earlier. I was certain of it. My first instinct was to slam them shut, lock them again, but I remembered the rule. If they're open after midnight, leave them open. Never close them. So I left them. Cold air rushed in, chilling the house. Along with it came faint laughter, high-pitched, childlike. It echoed through the halls, playful at first, but there was something sharp in it, something wrong. I followed the sound as it faded. That's when I saw them. Wet footprints, small, barefoot prints. They shimmered against the marble floor, trailing deeper into the mansion. They led me to the ballroom. The doors were open. I should have walked away. I knew I should have, but I peeked. And what I saw will never leave me. The ballroom was alive. Dozens of decayed figures spun in circles, waltzing in shredded gowns and ruined tuxedos. Their faces were pale, sagging, blurred like they were underwater. The chandeliers swayed, though there was no wind. The orchestra played, but the musicians had no eyes, only hollow sockets. Their bows screeched across broken strings. One of the dancers stopped. Slowly, its head turned toward me. It was him, the man from the mirror. He raised his bony hand and beckoned me closer. I slammed the doors shut and ran until my legs gave out. I almost quit after that. I wanted to, but I didn't. I told myself I could last one more week. That decision sealed my fate. On my final night, the mirror didn't just show one figure. It showed 3. The man, the woman in white, and a child. They pressed against the glass, grinning, their pale hands clawing from the inside. Their nails screeched as they scraped against the mirror, as if they were trying to push their way out. The clock struck 2:34, and the mirror cracked. The house came alive that night. Footsteps thundered through every hall. Doors slammed. Whispers brushed against my ears. Shadows darted across the walls. I locked myself in the office and told myself to hold on. Just hold on until 6. That was the final rule. Leave at 6. Not a minute later, I watched the clock, each second dragging like an eternity. At 5:59, the air turned cold. She appeared. The woman in white. This time she wasn't begging. She was smiling. "You shouldn't have ignored me," she whispered. The clock struck 6. I bolted from the office and ran for the doors. My heart hammered with relief. I had made it. But when I reached the front entrance, I stopped dead. The doors weren't there. Not locked, not open, just gone. The wall was smooth where they should have been. The house had erased them. That was 2 nights ago. The clocks in the mansion are frozen at 2:33 now. My phone doesn't work. The mirror in the east hallway isn't cracked anymore. It's open. I can see them in it. The man, the child, the woman in white, standing behind me, waiting. Whitlock never told me what happens when you break a rule, but I think I'm about to find out. So if anyone ever takes this job after me, remember this. Follow the rules. Follow them exactly. And whatever you do, don't look in the mirror. And that was my terrifying experience as the night guard at LeDuc Mansion. If you enjoyed listening, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your support keeps these chilling tales alive. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and join our Night Owl family for more stories that will keep you awake in the dark. Stay safe, and remember, some rules are meant to be followed.